Hi, my name is Mary Dunn, and my question for the inquiring minds was, why are women usually paid less for doing the same job as men? This question is a very controversial topic in the United States and across the whole world, and the idea that two people with the same qualifications, background, and education can be paid different amounts can seem somewhat absurd, but I was going to do some research to find out just why this is happening and how big of a problem it is. Um, To do this, I decided to find research first through individuals in my area and then throughout website research. And I did this by creating two scenarios and asking questions with the people that I had given surveys to. So I had them fill out a brief survey and they gave it back to me. It was just really short and it was just to see not so much their opinions, but just what they think other people's opinions are. Participants consisted of men and women ranging from high school students to individuals over the age of 60, and I had a total of 25 people altogether who did it. The scenarios I created were by giving just two different workers and explaining a little bit about them. They were very similar, and just having them answer the questions. So the survey was this. It said, please answering the following as to which individual you believe would be paid more. Worker A studied at Stanford University and has a master's degree. They've been working at a company for 15 years and they're interested in trying to receive a promotion. They have 3 children and they are a hard worker who has never let the company down. Worker B studied at Yale and also has a master's degree. They've been working with the company for 15 years and they would like to receive a raise in the near future. Worker B is a single parent, although they've never let that interfere with their work, and they have brought nothing but positive aspects to the company. The first question was, who do you think is paid more? Worker A, worker B, or they should be paid the same amount? Almost everyone that I had do the survey, there was actually one person who had chose someone different, but put that they should be paid the same amount, and some people even wrote they didn't understand why this was even a question because they were so similar. The second question was, do you think that gender discrimination when dealing with the payment in the workforce is an issue? Most people responded that they weren't really sure. Some people said yes. That was mostly women that I had. And then a lot of men just said they didn't really think that it was an issue with them, but they knew overall that there was an issue. The third question was, would you be surprised if one of these individuals were getting paid less than the other based on their gender? And most people put that they weren't really sure why that would be an issue. However, they thought that it could be possible, but they didn't really know any statistics or any background on this problem. And then was, do you know the average woman gets paid just over 82 cents for a man's dollar? And mostly everyone wrote that they did not know that. They knew that there was some sort of issue, but they didn't know the extent to it. I actually had two people say that they thought it was worse, so that it had gotten better than what they had expected. And then the final question was, why do you think this is an issue? And I had many different responses. The generic thing was just that it needs to be changed. They didn't really know why this was going on, but they would like to learn more about it. And that was the survey that I did. So this part of the research was a way to see how real people that I knew viewed this issue, and even if they knew that it was happening, and many people didn't know to the extent that this was going on. This aspect was very eye-opening to me, and then when I started doing research on websites, it just became even more distinct as to that there was an issue going on. So after looking at BLS.gov, it was a great article and it was titled, Why Do Women Earn Less Than Men? I learned a lot about both sides of the issue and just to what extent that this is going on in America. I learned that in 2012, women earned 82.8% of what a male in the same position as them would earn. And this seems like a very extreme difference between the two until I learned that in 1979, a woman earned only 62.3% of what a man was earning. So that doesn't make up for what it is now, but there's definitely been progress. Um, it was astonishing, although it does show just how far the problem has made strides in what a lot of people would think is the right direction. And these numbers were proof that there is an issue. However, it didn't show why this was an issue or why this was a problem. So I looked through the sources in this article that I was reading, and it showed that the first example as to why this was happening and the first reasoning was that it was just a simple wage discrimination, and that there was really no explanation other than the fact that women were just getting paid less because they were women. And then there was more onto that subject, was that men just have more training, education, and experience. However, in recent studies, it's proven that women actually account for like half of people that are in universities today. And there are statistics that they have over half of law and medical students in college right now. So this proves that women have been catching up with experience, schooling, and background. And it just makes sense as to why the gap is actually narrowing and becoming less. But it's kind of also proving a point that there still must be some sort of discrimination going on if the people are having the exact same amount of requirements but not getting the same thing. So it's easy to be critical of this issue, especially when women are looking at it. However, when solid reasons are presented, it's hard to be completely onto one side of this issue. So the article also explained how other people view this issue, not that they are discriminating against women, but just based on solid facts that they have. So there have been studies that proven that this has something to do with gender, but it's just not the sole focus of the reason why women are getting paid less. These studies explain that in some cases, men are just simply more competitive than women, meaning that they are more persistent when trying to get raises. They are proving to the boss more, even if they are doing the exact same amount of work as a woman. And that just is based on statistics and actual facts that studies have proven. And that is regardless that they're doing the same work or not. There's just proof that that is an issue because of the persistency of the men. So another example is one that could still be taken as slightly discriminatory. However, many large, powerful companies have proven with background as to why they believe what they believe. And these companies say that they like to hire women and pay them the same amount. However, in the past, they've dealt with more insufficient job stability when it comes to women than when it comes to men. This means that the company wants a candidate, but they also want the candidate who's going to be the most loyal and who's going to stay the longest. And studies have shown that the gap in the age group in the getting paid more has to do with the age group as to right when they get out of college versus right when women get to the age of marrying or having children. And that's when it really starts to become larger. So a lot of companies are saying that it's not because they're a woman, it's just because in the past or based on statistics, women are more likely to leave a job based on personal reasons, where a man will be more loyal to a company. The facts are simply that family and personal life are what this situation and this issue is almost completely encompassing. If companies gave more flexibility to workers and didn't expect them to put in extreme hours, this issue would probably cease to exist. However, in today's society, it's not really reasonable to assume that that situation, the ideal situation, would happen. And this is what I got from my question and the research I got both personally and publicly, and it helped me to see the issue more clearly, and hopefully things will keep improving in the right direction and more individuals become aware of this issue. Thank you for watching.